Welcome back, 6th grade. We are on our very last lesson for Western Europe, Lesson 3, Life in Western Europe. So with this one, that means we're finished with at least Western Europe, and you guys can take your chapter quiz. Our essential question here is, how do governments change? We only have one key term, post-industrial. For right now, until we start getting everybody grouped up and actually on the same page to where we can do these kind of tables and stuff as a class, I'm going to go ahead and have you guys skip this for right now. We will be doing these later on as a class, but there are so many people in different areas that we're going to go ahead and skip this for right now. All right, straight into the questions here. Number one, what political events in the 1900s made European countries believe they needed to work together? Well, there were two main events. There was World War I and there was World War II. Nothing makes countries feel like they need to work together like a gigantic, massive war on an entire continent. All right, flip the page over. Okay, number two, we need to make a timeline showing the dates and agencies that led to the formation of the European Union. So for this one, you don't need your traditional timeline that goes horizontal and where you just put like a date and then something. We can actually just use this and just make a vertical timeline. So we're gonna have to flip it back and forth a couple times here. All right, so our very first one, we have 1951 Treaty of Paris. And then again on this page, we have the EEC, or European Economic Community, in 1958. We don't need to write everything down on here simply because we have this paper. We can always refer back to it. So I'm going to put 19, and I'm going to actually make a 51 look like a 51. And that's the Treaty of Paris. And then I have, I think it was 1958, the EEC, the European Economic Commission. And then in this paragraph right here, and these, we have the other ones we need to have on here. So 1967, we have what's called the European Commission. Try and squeeze that onto the page here. How many M's are in commission? And then finally in 1993, we have the European Union. Now I know this one says 93 and the other one page said 92. It really doesn't matter which one we go on there. You're not going to get any questions from me that ask you what year the European Union started. Any questions I give you about the European Union are going to be based off like number 4, that is how it works or what it does. All right, number 3. Read the text on the right, highlight the names of the 12 original nations that formed the European Union in 1993. So we have this paragraph that says those 12 nations. So we're basically just going to work backwards until we've found 12 different countries. So right here we have Denmark, that's 1, Greece, 2, Spain, 3, Portugal, 4. Okay, United Kingdom, 5, Ireland, 6. Turn it back again. And then on this one, we're gonna go and find ours. France, that's 7, West Germany, 8, Belgium, 9, Netherlands is 10, Luxembourg is 11, and Italy is 12. That is your 12 countries that formed the original European Union. If you look at the European Union's flag, they have 12 stars on there to represent those 12 member nations. If you pay any sort of attention to modern news, you might notice that the European Union is missing the United Kingdom now because they left. All right, number 4, how do the nations of the European Union work together? It's going to be this paragraph right here. So the main goal is to strengthen trade between the countries of Europe. So strengthen trade and economics. And we'll just write that down, strengthen trade, little and symbol, economics. The main goal of the organization is mostly monetary. It's to help those countries in Europe maintain good economies, be able to have countries that are not poor or broken down, things like that. All right, what are the Indo-European languages? They are this. They are simply a group of related languages. Most European languages are based off Indo-European, and they're either the Romance ones like French, Spanish, or Italian, or they're Germanic languages like German, Dutch, and the ones they speak in like Scandinavia, like Swedish and stuff like that. So I'm just going to write group of related languages here. There we go. Okay, done with number 5. All right, number 6. Read the text on the left, highlight the names of the major religions that are practiced in Western Europe today. There's only 3 we need to highlight. Some of you will have likely highlighted more just because you're highlighting sub-religions. So our first main religion is the very first word in the paragraph, Christianity. If you highlighted Catholic or Protestant or Roman Catholic, that's fine too. Just remember that ultimately those are still part of Christianity, and we're talking about three completely distinct and different religions. So our next one that we're going to find is going to be right here, Muslims. Or if you want to go ahead and put the actual name of the religion, Islam. Islam is the religion. Someone who practices that religion is Muslim. And then our very last one on here is Jewish. So the main religions you have in Europe are Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Christianity is obviously going to be the biggest and main one there because most countries there are dominantly Christian nations. All right, number 7, we have what was the Holocaust? That's activating prior knowledge, so that's meaning you should just remember what it was. And again, that was the German murder of 6 million Jews. Okay. And number 8, what was the original purpose of universities? That's right here. Originally, universities were founded to educate the clergy. If you don't know what clergy is, that's essentially telling you it's the church people. Those are the priests or the rabbis or the monks, things like that. People who worked in the church or needed to do things involving using the Bibles or talking to people or reading text, they were the ones who were originally educated. Traditionally, only the wealthiest people in the clergy were the ones who actually had proper educations. Number 9, in what ways do nations of Western Europe support art and culture? Well, you have this part right here. The arts are an important part of Western European culture. Museums and cultural institutions celebrate each nation's art and history. Okay, so we're just going to say, for our answer here, we're going to put many museums and cultural institutions. Guess I'll spell cultural right. Cultural institutions. Okay, turn that over and we're on the home stretch for lesson 3. Okay, number 10, what is the source of population and growth in Western Europe today? This was also one of your warm-up questions, and that's going to be the very first sentence here on this last paragraph. Most population growth in Western Europe today is from immigration. So we're just going to put immigration. You have a lot of people, a lot of refugees specifically, coming in from places like the Middle East or other parts of Asia or parts of Africa who are looking to find a better life in Europe versus where they were originally from. All right, number 11, what challenges did the nations of Western Europe face? There's a couple different ones you could have for this. As long as you have at least 2 of the ones that are somewhere in the paragraph, you're fine. We always have kind of a similar thing going on here. It's basically going to be all of this stuff kind of summarizing that up. So one of them is you have ongoing financial crisis. The United States, we kind of fixed our financial crisis a couple years ago. In other parts of the world, they still have kind of stuff going on and problems there. And then the other one you have in Europe right now, you do have a decent amount of racial and religious tensions. You have a lot of different people from different backgrounds and religions and races all living in the same area. And if you look at Europe on a map, it's not that big. So you have a lot of different people in a very small area that can cause problems. All right, our 2 writing prompts, we're just going to discuss those briefly, and then we'll move on, and then you can tell either myself or Ms. Wilson that you are ready for the Western Europe chapter quiz. So first in here, how have the nations of Western Europe adapted to survive the political events of the 1900s? That's going to be in your very first part here. Look at questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. That should help you. Number 2, what effects has immigration had on the nations of Western Europe? Well, you can look in this paragraph. You can look at some of the other ones. Immigration has had a big impact on the region, both positive and negative. You're going to have to figure that out and write it down, though. All right, see you guys next time for Northern and Southern Europe. Bye.